Hello guys, welcome to the fourth video on C Sharp programming using Visual Studio 2010. And today we shall cover the concepts of decisions and flow controls in C Sharp. Okay, decisions in programming are made in order to make your program behave and respond to conditional logic. And this might be necessary in order to make your program more lively than the dumb old programs which used to execute line after the line. Using decisions, your programs are more lively because they respond to real life events. So in order to perform conditional logic or decision making in your programs, there are certain operators which are given or present in almost all of the programming languages present today. We shall explore such operators now. The first category is the conditional operators, and the first operator is your comparison operator, which compares the left hand side with the right hand side. The second operator is the greater than, which compares the left hand side with the right hand side and determines that the left hand side is actually greater than the right hand side. And if it is true, only then the following statements where this operator has been used shall be executed. The next one is the opposite one, which tests whether the left hand side is less than the right hand side. And the next one is your combination of the first and second operators, which is in fact two operators used at the same time, where the left hand side is tested with the right hand side whether it is greater or not, or the left hand side is compared with the right hand side to determine the equality. The next operator is the opposite, and the last operator is your not equal to, which determines whether the left hand side is not equal to right hand side. This might be necessary in some situations, which we shall cover in your practical session. So decisions depend on Boolean logic, which is completely dependent on 1 or 0, or the two states of true or false. So as the result is either a true or false, we can use the bool data type to store the result and proceed accordingly. So this is the data type which was covered in the previous class, or if it was not covered, let me remind you that Boolean data type stores only either 1 or 0, which means if you declare a variable as a Boolean, then the variable can have either the value of 1 or 0 or true or false. So in addition to the conditional operators, we may also use logical operators. And we use logical operators only to combine one or more conditional expressions. It might happen in a situation where you have to combine or compare 2 to 3 expressions together and finally take a decision. In such cases, the logical operators come to use and are very handy and an excellent invention, in fact. So in C Sharp, in order to test conditions, we have decision control blocks. So we might be thinking where we shall actually put these expressions and how do we represent them. Is it possible to write directly? All those things. Let me tell you the secret. These conditions which you write, or the expressions, conditional expressions and all those things, you actually write in certain structures which are actually known as control structures. In C Sharp, the basic structures, not only in C Sharp but almost all languages, are if-else structure, or if-else block, and the switch case structure, switch case block. So I have written a small program here in order to explain to you. Okay, this is the program, and note this point that both the above can be nested, which means that you can put an if-else block inside an if-else block itself, and this might be a bit confusing to newcomers because I'm making online classes, the time is limited, I'm switching very fast, taking the tutorial very fast. I shall show you how you can do or perform nesting of these things in the practical session, Okay, here is an example. Let us go through the example fast. Okay, the example says that I see first we have declared an integer and stored a value of 10 inside this integer, and this is the if else block which I have talked to you, which I have described in here. If x is greater than 9, mind the symbol here, just look at the symbol here. We used the comparison operator greater than, and this is the LHS part, and x is the LHS part and 9 is the RHS part. So if x is really greater than 9, then the statements which follow the if, that is after the opening curly bracket of if, will be executed. And if x is not greater than 9, in that case the if block which is enclosed in the curly braces shall be skipped, and the else part shall be carried out. And in switch case, the only difference is the operand x or the LHS part is pre-tested or kept in the memory, and that value is compared with each case as are the cases written in here, the case 1, case 2 and case 3. The one which is there in the case is the integer or the RHS side, which shall be compared with the x. Since x is not 1, case 1 shall not be carried out. That is, the do this part will not happen and it will skip to case 2. And similarly it will skip case 2 and it will go to case 3 and continue going on to find until it finds the case of x is equal to 10. And if it doesn't find such a case, it will search for a case known as default case, which I have not written in here. We shall examine that in the program, the practical part. Okay, let's move forward. So this is the example of multiple ifs. Multiple ifs are used in order to test several conditions one after the other. You can have multiple ifs without else's or multiple if else's together. This is also an example of nested ifs, where an if else block for variable 2 and value 2 is enclosed within an if else block of variable 1 and value 1. Okay, so let's move forward. We'll test all these things in the practical session. Nested switch cases. Here the switch case structure has been nested, and the value is value of I, or say the brackets which you're seeing right now are actually the subscript brackets, and that shall be taught in the chapter of arrays if you are familiar with arrays. And if you're not familiar with arrays, so then wait upon for the video. We shall cover that in later video. Simply consider that value of 1 is just simply an x, and the is which is being tested for a case of g, small g and capital G, small g and capital G. And after that, inside the switch value of y, there is another switch which is nested inside the switch, first switch, and here we are testing the value of I plus 1, that is the next value in the array, or say x plus 1, or say y, some new variable. You cannot say x plus 1. Actually, if you are considering value of I as x, then value of I plus 1 shall be some other variable or the value of some other variable such as y. I hope you understand the nesting of switches and the brackets used in here. The opening and closing brackets correspond to each other, and there is no mistake. No mistake should be done while writing the opening and closing brackets in switch case and if else blocks. Otherwise, it will fetch undesired results. Okay, let's move forward. So I agree that most of the details are left out in this theory part because time is running out, and I had a plan of teaching all those in the practical session. So keep watching the whole tutorials always, and let's get to programming then.